everybody. Welcome back to another Saturday Anything Goes. I hope you guys are having a pleasant weekend. I'm still getting used to walking around in this big old monstrosity of a walking boot, but that's just me. Enough about that. What are we going to do tonight? Well, in the last video, we looked at some new DSP in the holiday catalog called Feels Like Frost. And we made this very, very cute treat bag. And since then, I've made a couple of cards, and yep, I admit it, my name is Linda. I am a Frostaholic. I just can't get enough of this paper. I'm halfway through with the first pack, so I've got another pack on order. A lot of times, if I'm looking for inspiration, probably much like you, I'm either on Pinterest or on YouTube. And I have a couple of favorite YouTubers that I love to watch. And one of them is Angelina from Intertwine Designs. She always has these really great 3D projects. And I wanted to start thinking about small gifts because, yeah, holidays are coming and I have a few birthdays coming up. And sometimes you don't need anything big or extravagant. You just need a little something. So I was watching Angelina yesterday and she did this incredible box. What's incredible about it? Ta-da! It has a slide out drawer. I thought, oh my gosh, how perfect is that? I made it just like she showed and started decorating it with, of course, the Feels Like Frost paper. This purple one, oh, I hope you can see the color on it. Gorgeous, gorgeous, gorgeous. And, you know, that paper isn't necessarily just a winter-themed paper. I think you could use this any time of the year. This is another of the Feels Like Frost designs, and there's nothing really that says winter about it. It's just a beautiful, almost an abstract mosaic of colors. And I've got, yep, one more. I use some blue as well. And when you look at the whole page, yes, it looks pretty frosty, but when you cut it down and just take the pieces that you need, then this could very well be springtime. So what I wanted to do tonight is, first of all, to show you how to make this box because I just think it's adorable. I love that you can slide it open and shut. And it's the perfect size to sit on a desk. We are also going to make note cards. This will easily hold, oh, let's see, I've got 4 note cards and envelopes. You could easily get at least another 2 or 3 in there. So really a good sized gift for some of the people on your list who you just want a little something personal to give them. All right, so that's what we're gonna do. Now, let me see if anybody's out there. For some reason, my Facebook doesn't show me you all until I actually put my own comment in. All right, so hello everybody, and hopefully that will allow me to see you as you pop in. All right, so let me pull these aside. Oh, but look at this butterfly. I adore this butterfly. So cute. And that was just, I punched out 3 butterflies, 2 out of the designer paper and 1 out of the darkest of the matting papers, which in this case was rich raspberry. Put them all together and oh, I just love it. Don't know if we're going to use a butterfly on this one. We'll just have to see how it goes. All right, so let me bring my project box in here. And these are all the pieces and parts that we're going to be working with. I already went ahead and cut down, but you will need basically 2 sheets of cardstock. I'm using the purple posy for this. This one measures 10 1/4 by 6 1/4, and your second one will measure 8 1/4 by 5 3/4. And I'll make sure I have all these dimensions listed in the description as well. So this is what we're going to use to make our box, and then we've got everything in here to decorate the box as well as make the note cards and envelopes. All right, so let me bring in my scoreboard because we have a bit of scoring that we need to do here. Oof. And I will try to make sure I stay in camera frame. Hello, Brenda, from all the way from Perth. Woohoo! All right, so we'll start with the largest piece, which is our 10 1/4 by 6 1/4. And the first thing that we're going to do on our long side, the 10 1/4 side, is we're going to score it at 1 inches. Now, we're going to do something a little different. Because we want our box to be able to slide in and out easily, I'm going to show you a little trick. We are going to move this down to where the score line is at the very next tick mark. Let me bring this up. Hopefully you can see right there is our score line. Boy, the light is just terrible in here. There, you can see that. What I'm going to do is make that score line come to this very next little tick right there after the 1. So I'm just going to slide it out until the 2 meet. So there's my tick and there's my score line. Okay, and make sure that you have a firm grip on it there. And then our next score marks are going to be at 4 7/8. Oop, come on, you. No skipping allowed. And at 5 7/8. So both of those score lines we've made with this shifted over just a little. But now we're going to shift it back to where it's all the way flush. And we're going to do one more score mark at 9 5/8. So 5/8 is right after the half mark. All right, so we've got that done. Now we're going to flip it around to the right. So we've got our short edge up here. Here we're just going to score at 1 inch. Hang on a minute. Sorry. Nope, not at 1 inch. We're going to score at, oh yeah, that is right, 1 inch. So here we go. And that's all the scoring we need to do for the not drawer part, if you understand what I mean. So we'll pull this one aside. Now we'll bring in the piece that measures 5 3/4 by 8 1/4. And with the 8 1/4 side against the top, we're going to score at 1 inch. And then we'll score again at 6 1/4 and at 7 1/4, so 7 1/4. Then again, we're going to rotate this to the right. So we have our short edge up here. We're going to score at 1 inch. And then I'm going to flip it all the way around and score at 1 inch here. And that's just so I make sure that I have exactly 1 inch on either side. So that's the easiest way. If you need the same border on either side, just do your 1 inch or whatever it is, and then flip it around and do that same score mark. All right, so that's all the scoring we need to do. We can put that aside. If you hear a loud crash, it just went tumbling down. All right, next thing we're going to do is to fold and burnish our score lines. I tell you, the first time I made this project, I wasn't paying attention and I didn't shift it over that little bit, and my drawer would not go in the box. So it's a simple thing, but it makes a big difference. All righty. Hello, Cynthia. Oh, I'm glad you enjoy boxes. You know, I love making cards and they will always be near and dear to me, but I love when you can make 3D projects as well to gift to someone. And when you can combine the two, like we're doing here, well, there you go. That's a match made in heaven. Okay, so I've got all of my folding and burnishing done. And let's go ahead and start on our smaller piece. And what you'll notice is we have one section here. We have two sections here. Now, why on earth do we need two sections? Well, because we need to reinforce this bit, because this is where our ribbon is going to go. So if I pull this out, you'll see that's where my ribbon is. If we didn't if we didn't reinforce it, then we would run the risk of tearing our ribbon off. So it's just, you know, kind of like a security blanket. All right, I'm going to bring out my circle punch. This is the 1 inch, but you certainly can use just about any small size circle punch. And we want to find the middle as best we can. I'm not going to measure it, but just by eye. And then I don't want to come in too far. If I get this edge against the edge of my fold over, I'm happy with that. And just punch it out. So this is where we're going to put our ribbon. Okay. I'm going to bring out my tear and tape because we're ready to do some cutting and then put this part together. So with the section that we just made our little circle punch from, hi Betty, hello Amy. What we're going to do is we've got these 2 squares that are on the end, and so we're going to cut up both of these, and we're going to cut out that bottom square. The very bottom one we will not need, so we'll just cut that off. And I'm going to, since we're folding this over, I'm also going to notch out a little bit here. Take a little wedge so that when I fold it over, it takes away some of that excess bulk. So we'll repeat that on this side, cut up both of those. I guess this one's actually a rectangle, not a square, but it's okay. And then I'm going to wedge there, cut this completely off. Come on, you. And then for my flaps, I also want to do just a little wedge on either side. Again, it helps with the bulk when we're putting it together. All right. And if you have problems with your flap, if it's getting in the way, just fold this up. I sometimes have to turn them over to get a clear shot at making a good wedge. But there we go. Now we're going to rotate this. We're going to do the same to this side, except we only have one of the corners that we need to work with, and we're not going to cut that away. We need to keep it because these are flaps as well. So just notch these out and do the same to this one. All right, so we've got all of our cutting for this one. Let's move on before we put that together and work with, I'll call this like the wrap for it. All right, and this is very simple. This is going to be our flap here. So we'll cut up it just like we normally would when we're making a box. And I'll do a bit of wedging. I really like to do that wedging also because it gets rid of my score line. And sometimes that can be a bit bumpy. And then we're going to cut up on this side as well and give it a little wedge. And repeat on our last side, except this is where we've got just 1/2 inch. So this bottom section, we're going to take completely away. So we don't need that flap or that rectangle that's at the very bottom over there. And then I'm going to notch in on both ends of this. This is going to be where we attach the box to make it come all the way around. All right, so these are our 2 pieces. Easy breezy, right? Doesn't take much at all. Oh, Cynthia, I'm sorry you keep losing the sound and it freezing. Yes, please do come back and watch it later. Hello, Jewel. Hi, Lisa. Okay, so let's put this together. So this is going to be, we'll put our tear and tape there, and then we're just going to bring this around and match it up. So we'll use tear and tape for some of the things, but we will also use liquid glue for things like our flaps because I like that extra bit of time it gives us to wiggle it around and make sure I have it in the right position. All righty. Let me just burnish that down real good. And here I have to kind of pick it up because on most things, you know how you can fold it like this and fold things over. This is a little bulkier when you try and do that. So the best thing I've found to do, I like to pick it up and then bring this up and marry the two together at my score line on the bottom and my edge that's at the top, just like that. I've got a little bit of a nub there, so let me just take care of that, make it look neat. And then our front and back. So this is where I attached it. That is going to be, this will be my front, this will be my back. And the only reason that's important is because when I fold these up, I want to make sure that for my front, the flap edge is at the very back. All right, so let's go ahead and put this together. Now I am going to put glue on my flaps. A lot of people skip this step, and you certainly can, but I don't like these kind of sticking up on the inside of the box because they can catch on whatever you're putting in the box. So I'll just do that and then stick my bone folder in here and give it a bit of a rub. All right, and then here I'm going to use my tear and tape. I like using liquid glue, but sometimes tear and tape just seems to give me a little bit better hold. So once I've got part of it done, I'm okay with doing the rest. So let me just make sure that is sticking on the inside. All right. Come on, let go my ego. Have things cooled down at all where you guys are? It is still blazing hot here. I don't know who turned on the heat, but I wish they'd turn it back off. Okay, so there we go. This is what is going to hold our drawer. One of the things I like to do is kind of come around and feel if I have any edges sticking out. I like to go trim those up. It just gives your box a neater appearance. So like that, and I'm okay on this side. All right. Now, I always forget to do this. You actually can put your layers and your DSP on before you glue the box together. Somehow, I'm always in such a hurry to put it together that I don't put the DSP on until afterwards. But I will give you all the measurements for the layers and the DSP as I'm attaching it. All right. To put this one together, again, very simple. We're just going to glue our flaps. And then we are also going to glue this at the top right here, because remember, this is going to be kind of our reinforced bit. Before I close that up though, you will need some ribbon if you want to be able to pull it out easily. And I have about a 3-inch piece of our beautiful purple posy and linen ribbon. And this is going to be just enough to give me a grip. Now what I'm going to do is put a glue dot to stick the two ends together so they won't come unraveled. And then another glue dot, because when I put this in here, I'm going to pull it through and then secure it. So that will also keep it from coming undone. All right, and then I can bring these up. And you want to match them together. So make sure you've got your edges lining up. just like that. Ah. And then when you do, come on, you stick. Once you've got those together, then you can fold down that flap and give it a good squish to make sure that it lays flat. All right, so that's one side. Now let's do the other. Again, we're simply marrying up our edges here, just like that. And I'm going to give that a good press as well. All right, now is the moment of truth. Is our drawer going to fit in our box? So you just slide it in, and the first time that I did it, I had to work with it just a little bit, but it will fit. Just like that. And as you work it a few times, it will settle into position to make it easier. All right, but that's basically how you make the box with the sliding drawer. Fun, fun, fun. All right, but now let's get to decorating it. And Jewel, don't worry about the measurements. I will list them in the description, so no worries there. All right, so let's bring in the pieces and parts we need to decorate. So I'm going to pull these aside because that's for the little, can't really call it a sentiment, but that's what's going to go to on the top cover. Now I pulled out Rococo Rose to use for the mat here, even though I'm using Purple Posy as the base. If you look at this, and oh my gosh, isn't that beautiful? And yes, this is definitely a winter scene, but there were different colors in here. There's a little bit of Blushing Bride, a little bit of yellow, some cream. So I kind of just held things up to see what colors went the best with this and decided the Rococo Rose was going to be just perfect. All right, so my mat for this is 5 by 3.5, right? And then the DSP is 4 3/4 by 3 1/4. So let's go ahead and marry those together. Look at how beautiful it is on the back. Gotta love the foil. But like I said, it's just been difficult for me to put this DSP down and work on anything else. I just love it so, so much. All right, so we've got that. And now we're going to straight glue this down to the top. Just like that. Here, I definitely recommend using your liquid glue because you may have to squiggle it around just a little bit. All right, let's work on the sides of our box because yes, it's pretty that way, but I want it to be pretty no matter what angle you're looking at it from. So for this, we will have 2 cardstock pieces that measure 5 inches by 3/4 inches and 2 that will measure 3.5 by 3/4 of an inch. And to that, we will add our DSP. You will need 2 pieces that are 4 3/4 by 1/2. So those go with that. And then 2 pieces that are 3 1/4 by 1/2. So let's just go ahead and glue all of these down. Gotta watch to make sure I'm gluing the right side. For some reason today, I kept wanting to make the foil show. All right, and on this, there's really not a pattern, so I didn't have to worry about up or down or anything. But when you're gluing these on, if you do have a directional pattern, just make sure that when you glue it on, it's going in the right direction. I think on one of my other boxes, it did show some of the pattern on the sides, So just be aware of that. All right, so we've got that side. So as you can see, this is really going together pretty quickly. All right. And I think this was the side I had almost had problems with on my directional paper. Because you want to put it going that way, but if you're looking this way, you would actually do it the reverse, which seems counterintuitive, but there you have it. All right, so here we go. Put the last two together. And glue them on. And I will tell you, to make the box and decorate it, it used about 3/4. Well, I take it back. By the time I cut all these pieces, it uses almost a full 6x6 sheet. You'll have a little bit left over, but not very much. Probably have a strip you could use on the inside of a card, for instance, if you wanted to hang on to it. All right, last piece going on. Right there. And so there we have our slide out drawer. Nifty beans, right? Okay, we'll come back and we'll do the piece for the top here in a little bit. Let's just knock these cards out because they're super easy. I used, in one of the sets that I showed you previously, I used our pre-made note cards and envelopes. As a matter of fact, that's where these envelopes come from. So it's very, very easy to do. And these measure, what is it, about 3.5 by 5 is what the measurements would be on the note cards. For this one, I decided to just make note cards out of the Rococo Rose because I thought it just goes beautifully with the DSP. So the measurements for the panel that goes on top of your note cards would be, I did not write that down. It would be 4.5 by 3 inches. So 4.5 by 3 inches. And we're just going to glue that straight down. I didn't feel the need to put a sentiment on at all because these are note cards. So people will just reach in and, you know, grab them when they need to send a quick note to somebody. So I felt like if we put sentiment on there, it kind of would limit how they would be able to use this. So we're just going to glue all of these. And then I didn't cut them yet, but since this is colored cardstock, you will want to make a white panel or a cream colored panel, depending on what you're using for the inside, so that they can use it to write on. All right, and I'm just doing 4 of them, mostly because that's all I have left. My note cards and envelopes have gotten a good workout this weekend with these projects. Okay, one more. So, you know, I'll bet if, let's say you needed to make 5 of these, you could knock these out in an afternoon. It's really that simple. So there are our note cards and our envelopes. They should fit nicely right in our drawer, and they do, just like that. All right, one last thing to do. And that is, I love the way it looks, but I thought it needed a little something special. because after all, we're giving this as a gift. So I chose my purple posy, and I chose Very Vanilla since there's cream in here, and that's also what I used for the envelopes. So we're going to use those. For my ink, though, I'm going to use Highland Heather. Purple Posy is just a wee bit light, so I thought the Highland Heather would go much better. Hello, Sandy. And I chose the sentiment from, where is it? New Wonders. And the reason I did was this: each new page reveals a new wonder to be experienced. I thought that's kind of like each new season lets you experience new things. So I thought it really went well with this. So let's ink it up and stamp it down. All right, just like that. And I'm using the dies from Free as a Bird just because I love the fact that they're stitch dies and that we've got nesting ones. So it really looks good together. Let me get a little piece of washi tape here so I can make sure I get this on straight. Yes, I keep my retired washi tape just for things like this. And that sentiment fits just beautifully inside the, I think this is like the second to the smallest one maybe of the Free as a Bird dies. So we'll put that in there, and then I'm just going to do a mat with the next largest one. So I'll run those through the Big Shot. Pardon if the camera shakes a little because it's sitting right next to my desk. There we go. Hopefully that wasn't too bad. All right. And with the other ones, I actually popped them up. I just really liked how they looked popped up. So we'll put 2 on this one and lay that down. Come on, you. Sometimes it's hard for me to make sure the tops and the bottoms are even when it comes to these dies, but we'll get it. There we go. And then I'm also going to pop up this piece. And I think I want 3, so let me just cut off some of my edges here. Don't waste anything. I'm just going to use my reverse tweezers so my big fat fingers don't get in the way, and just lay it gently down where I think I want it. Pick it up, make any adjustments. But there you have it. All right, so I mean, it really took us what time is it? Oh, it's we're only 30 minutes into it, and I know I probably gabbed for a good 5 minutes at the beginning. So if you cut out your pieces ahead of time, you can sit and knock these out in no time at all. So let me just see if I can fit these all here so that you can see how versatile it is. So we've definitely got a winter scene here. These 3 though, this could very well be spring. This could be any time of year, and this especially could be any time of year. So what do you guys think? I was so excited when I watched Angelina doing this. All right, well, that is our segment for Saturday Anything Goes for today. If you have any questions at all, just reach out to me. I will be more than happy to assist you, whether it's, questions on how the box got put together, the dimensions, or just if you need to buy supplies and you don't have a Stampin' Up! Demo, please reach out to me and I'd be more than happy to get you out a catalog. I'm also always looking for people to join my fun team. So if you're interested in getting your products at a discount, leave me a comment below. All right, y'all, I will let you go. Enjoy the rest of your night and have a blessed tomorrow. Night, y'all.